Today's story is At the Ocean. Read it with me. At the Ocean. There are 3 words in that title. In today's story, we're going to be reading about some of the plants and animals we might see along the seashore. This story was originally written by Gallimard Jeunesse. He was a French author. It was translated into English by J. Elizabeth Mills. Today we're going to be seeing lots and lots of beautiful pictures. Make sure you look at all the different things while I read. All kinds of little creatures live hidden beneath the sand at the beach. At low tide, hungry birds swoop down to find the hidden animals and eat them. Can you see them all below the sand? Have you ever seen any of these when you were at the beach? When we open the flap, we can find out a little bit more about the animals. The oyster catcher has a long beak that helps it open seashells. The sandworm eats very small animals in the sand. The clam has a hard shell. You point to the clam in this picture. Good job. The seagull often steals other birds' food. Has a seagull ever tried to steal your food while you were at the beach? When disturbed, the razor clam burrows quickly into the soil. The sandworm digs a den and piles sand into little clumps. Remember, a den is like a hole or a burrow. The cockleshell uses its foot to flee deep into the sand. You can see its foot right here. It's a little piece that sticks out from the shell. The sandpiper is another kind of seabird that hunts sand creatures for food. Let's go to another beach, another seashore. Oh, this one looks different. It's not sandy. At low tide, you can see fish and crustaceans that live in the pools of water between the rocks. This is a rocky seashore. You might see a puffin. The puffin can hold a dozen fish in its big beak. That's 12 fish at once. Can you see how many tiny fish he has there? When it's out of the water, the anemone pulls in its tentacles. The tentacles are those long, wiggly things sticking out. The mussel holds onto rocks with its long filaments. The green crab is often found on the beach. This common prawn is almost transparent. We know prawns by another name, which is shrimp. The hermit crab makes his home in a deserted shell. That's not his shell. He doesn't make it. He finds a shell that another animal left behind. Here he is. The limpet always attaches itself to the same spot on a rock. Some bennyfish have scales, and some, like this one, have none. Let's go to the next seashore. These colorful fish are often found in the Mediterranean Sea. This is not a seashore. This is the sea. The John Dory is called the chicken of the sea because it has a crest on its head that looks like a feather. The male rainbow wrasse is more colorful than the female. The conger eel is a very vicious meat-eating fish. Vicious. That means it attacks other animals. The porgy eats cuttlefish and smaller fish. As I read about each animal, see if you can point to it in the big picture. The red coral is used to make jewelry. People harvest this coral. It means they kind of pick it and they use it to make jewelry. The anthias likes to live around shipwrecks. And the grouper can hunt for many years in the same place. The spiny lobster has long antennae to feel around for its prey. The next habitat is a coral reef. It's under the water near tropical beaches. Coral reefs are like underwater gardens where a great variety, that means lots of different kinds, of fish live. Remember, as I read about each animal, you point to it in the bigger picture. The hawkbill turtle lays its eggs in the same place each year. The anemone fish hides itself in a stinging anemone. Some people call that a clownfish. The sea urchin moves along the coral with its thick spikes. The leopard moray has a keen sense of smell. That means it has a really good sense of smell. Why would it need a good sense of smell? That's right, it's a hunter. It needs to find its prey. The male frigate bird inflates his crop or pouch to attract female birds. Can you see that little bit of skin under his beak? It's called his crop. The boxfish swims very slowly. The lionfish has venom in its spines and its fins. Coral reefs need to be very clean. Coral reefs need very clean water, or they will die. Let's take care of our oceans. Ooh. Now discover many animals and fish that live on the ice field and in the frozen waters of the Arctic Ocean. We talked about some of these animals when we talked about Arctic animals in school. Remember when we made that flubber? The walrus doesn't mind the cold layers of blubber keep it warm. Dolphins move very fast. They can swim at speeds of more than 18.6 miles per hour. They have to be fast in order to catch their prey. The cod is hunted for its meat and its liver oil. People catch codfish. The male narwhal has a tusk shaped like a long horn. The tern is a migratory bird that flies about 22,320 miles each year, almost from the South Pole to the North Pole. Watch as you're at the beach this summer. We have these terns here in Ocean City. The killer whale or orca travels in close-knit groups when hunting. The seal swims very well, but it's clumsy on the ice. It's good in the water, but it doesn't move too fast on the ice. Some fish and marine animals only live in the Pacific Ocean. Many are found under leafy forests of giant algae. Can you see the underwater forests of kelp or algae? Let's find out what they are. The otter breaks seashells using a pebble that it rests on its chest. It floats on its back, holds a stone on its chest, and bangs the seashells against the pebble. The color of the giant kelpfish changes with its environment. The bull kelp is one of the largest algae in the world. The sea lion can dive to 300 feet and stay underwater for about 15 minutes. That's a really long time. The sheephead crushes its prey with its powerful jaws. When a starfish is injured and loses an arm, the arm grows back. The Garibaldi is the most colorful fish in the Pacific region. Here we have an octopus. When the octopus is attacked, it releases streams of ink. This habitat is deep in the ocean. You notice that the ocean is dark? Sorry about that. This habitat is deep in the ocean where no sunlight reaches. There is no light at the bottom of the ocean. The bodies of these animals have points of lights that help them to recognize each other. The lanternfish's body is covered with tiny lights. The deep-sea angler gobbles up fish that come close to look at its light. The dragonfish attracts shrimp with its luminous spine. The giant squid has only one enemy, the sperm whale. That means nothing else is big enough to eat it or hunt for it. The body of the hatchetfish is shaped like a hatchet. That's how it got its name. The viper fish has very long teeth and lights along its body. Look at all those lights. Whew, look at those teeth. The longpole whipnose has a fishing line that is 4 times as long as the length of its body. It dangles this fishing line, and when other little animals come up to try to nibble on the line, it snaps them right up. In the middle of the ocean, away from the coastlines and beaches, live fish and birds that travel quickly and need lots of room to move. These animals tend to be very big. The mahi-mahi changes its beautiful colors when it is out of the water. The flying fish can soar through the air for over 600 feet using its pectoral fins. It doesn't really fly, but it can jump really long distances and soar over the water. The pilotfish eats leftovers from a shark's meal. The blue shark eats everything as it swims along near the surface. A sailfin is one of the fastest fish in the ocean. The Portuguese man of war has air sacs that help inflate it so it can float along the ocean. That's a giant jellyfish. This fish is called a yellowfin tuna because it has yellow fins. This is the kind of tuna that many of us eat. Here you have some of the most extraordinary animals in the marine world. The stonefish is dangerous because of its venom. The horseshoe crab comes ashore at high tide to lay its eggs in the moist sand. The kolkanath has reappeared. It was thought extinct since the era of the dinosaurs. It's a very old fish. The sawfish uses its saw to attack prey. This seahorse is called the leafy sea dragon. The goby is the smallest fish in the ocean. The nautilus has existed for 4 million years. Not this one, but this species. The gigantic manta ray swims with its mouth open to filter food from the water. The leatherback turtle is the largest marine turtle. That means the largest turtle that lives in the ocean. The largest fish is the whale shark. I hope you enjoyed reading about the different habitats in the ocean and the different animals you can find there. We saw a sandy beach, a coral reef, the Mediterranean. We saw tropical beaches and another coral reef, the Arctic, or the cold ocean areas, the Pacific Ocean and the giant sea kelp beds, the deep, deep sea where no sunlight shines, and the big, wide ocean, the deep blue sea, where large ocean creatures live.